One of my subscribers asked to see the wiring under my layout, so I did this video. It's the good, bad, and the ugly under the layout. Thanks for watching. Here we are under the layout. That's a connector I got that goes between the two layouts, so I can just unplug that. There's my bolts, and I actually put in screws to make it a little more rigid. So I got my wires to a terminal block here, and then I run a bus wire. I don't know what gauge that is. It's not real thick, but run a red and yellow all the way around the layout. I just use some eye bolts, eye screws here to make the corners. And then with my Smales, I did actually have to solder in the little adapters on the bottom, and then I can just use a screwdriver to put the wires in. I can take them out if I need to and then put them back. And then I use these suitcase connectors to connect the Smale to the bus line. One red, one blue. And here's another. This is from a different Smale here. One issue I did have is because I have so many of these Smales right together, I kind of started to run out of space on the bus line. I probably should have run 2 bus lines through here, but since I really don't know what I'm doing ahead of time, end up with that. Here's feeder wires coming down from the track, and I use suitcase connectors for those. This is where, over here, this rat's nest up in here is the DigiKeys DR18 wires that go to my Atlas snap switches. And for sure I have to use snap switches on the edges because there's just not a whole lot of room. You can see over here where there it is, where the wire goes up to the snap switch, so I don't think I could ever get a Smale to turn those. I got them too close to the edge, but that's one of the limitations. You can see I haven't done a great job hanging my wire. I just let it loose. I don't see it from the underside, so that's the way the new layout works. Okay, this is the underside of the original layout, and at that time all of my feeder wires went into this bus line. Yeah, I got the red and yellow over here that kind of runs down the center, and then I connect the feeder wires into that. Again, suitcase connectors. This puts this little shelf up here. That's the power supply to the DR4018 that runs the Atlas snap switches on the other side. And so over here I got my power supply under there with that's a 10-foot long cord, and then I got the little bus line that runs down these 2 braces. This underneath, that 2x4 running right down the middle, is because I had to cut the board in half to get it into my car. I had to Home Depot cut it in half, and then I had to put that board in there sideways to do that. So all these wires run over, for the switches and stuff, run over to the control panel, I guess I'll call it. Okay, since I started out with DC, and I still wanted to be able to use my DC locomotives here on the original layout, and just to run them around the new layout, put this toggle switch in. That's a double pull, double throw. Pretty easy to set up. So turn on my DC controller, toggle up, toggle down. All the switches are still powered by the DC controller, independent of the toggle switch. Here's my MRC Prodigy Advanced. So that's a brief overview of the underside of the layout. It's kind of a mess. Got wires hanging down, but it's on the list. Someday I'll fix it, but normally don't even see it, so don't worry about it.